In 2016, me and my friends decided to hit up Six Flags over Georgia. We were all hyped for the rides, hoping for a day full of laughs and unforgettable memories. When we got to the park, the excitement was off the charts. The rides stood tall in the distance, all lit up in different colors, calling us to come have a blast. So we jumped in line for the roller coasters, our laughter blending with the buzz of the crowd. As the hours went by, we went on ride after ride, our hearts racing with each twist and turn. But as the sun started going down, the park started getting darker, and that added a kind of spooky vibe to the place. Still, we didn't let that get us down, and we carried on into the evening. It was getting kinda dusky when we decided to hop on the old carousel. With all the bright lights from the other rides and the fading daylight, the carousel looked a bit out of place, but it had a certain charm, so we gave it a shot. As the carousel spun around, I noticed this guy standing on the side, staring at us. He was pretty tall and was wearing a shabby suit, which was kinda weird for a place like this. The thing that got me was how he wasn't smiling or showing any kind of happiness like everyone else. I gave my friend a nudge and pointed out the guy. We exchanged some uneasy looks, wondering why he was so interested in us. I tried to shake off the strange feeling, thinking I was just being paranoid, and went on with the ride. When the carousel slowed down and we got off, we headed over to grab a bite. But no matter where we went, it felt like the guy was always somewhere nearby, watching us. It was a bit freaky, and we started thinking about maybe telling the park security. Feeling more and more creeped out, we decided to call it a day earlier than planned. But as we headed for the exit, we saw the guy trailing behind us. Panic set in, and we picked up the pace. Glancing back, we saw him picking up speed too, and that gave us the chills. We finally reached the security office, and we spilled the beans to the guards. They didn't waste time and took care of it. Turns out, the guy had a history of causing trouble in the park. His weird behavior got him a permanent ban. It was a relief seeing the guards lead him away. Our day of fun had turned into something eerie, reminding us that even in happy places, there can be a touch of darkness. This happened in late spring of 2012. Me and my friends decided to hit up Luna Park in New York. The evening was warm and inviting as we strolled into the park. Luna Park was alive with colors, music, and the chatter of excited visitors. We joined the lines for some of the best rides, the anticipation building with every step forward. As darkness started to fall, the park's lights sparkled even brighter, giving it an enchanting vibe. We were ready to conquer every coaster and spin every thrill ride. But one ride, the Ferris wheel, would turn our excitement into a spine-tingling experience. When we finally got on the Ferris wheel, we were expecting a leisurely ride with stunning views of the city lights. But as our gondola climbed higher and higher, something caught our attention. We noticed a lone figure in one of the abandoned gondolas. This person wasn't like the other riders. They were dressed in ragged clothes and had an unsettling, vacant stare. It was clear that something was off about them, and that feeling spread through our group like wildfire. As our gondola reached its peak, we saw the person slowly turn their head to look at us, and a shiver ran down our spines. We tried to brush off the uneasy feeling, thinking maybe it was just someone looking for a place to hide. But as our gondola descended, we saw them again, this time standing at the edge of the platform. They looked like they were on the verge of doing something dangerous. By now, fear was getting the best of us. We alerted the Ferris wheel operator, who radioed for security. As we continued our ride, we watched as the person disappeared into the shadows. But the sense of dread lingered, and our excitement had transformed into a mixture of anxiety and unease. When we finally got off the Ferris wheel, we were met by security personnel who assured us they were investigating the situation. We shared our experience and description of the person, hoping they would find them and ensure the safety of everyone at the park. We decided to call it a night, our desire for fun overshadowed by the strange encounter. Walking out of Luna Park, we glanced back one last time, half expecting to see that eerie figure. Thankfully, they were nowhere in sight. As we left the park, we couldn't shake off the feeling that Luna Park held secrets we might never fully understand. What was that person doing there? Were they just a lost soul or something more sinister? In the summer of 2011, I found myself working at an amusement park, a place known for its nostalgic rides and family-friendly atmosphere. But there was one ride that cast a shadow of unease over the place: the Tunnel of Terror. This old-school dark ride featured eerie scenes designed to startle and spook riders. It had been a staple at the park for decades, attracting visitors with its vintage charm and simple scares. However, there were rumors among the staff about an unsettling incident that had taken place many years ago. According to the park's lore, a young maintenance worker had gone missing inside the tunnel back in the late 1980s. The story went that he was doing routine repairs when he vanished without a trace. The park searched for weeks but found no sign of him. Eventually, the incident was chalked up to an accident, and the Tunnel of Terror continued to operate. One evening, during my shift as a ride operator, I found myself assigned to the Tunnel of Terror. As the sun set and the park's lights illuminated, casting eerie glows on the rides, I couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that accompanied the ride's history. I watched as groups of riders entered the mouth of the tunnel, their excited chatter fading into the darkness. The ride's unsettling scenes were accompanied by eerie sound effects, creating an atmosphere of suspense. But there was something else, an underlying tension that seemed to hang in the air. As the night progressed, I heard whispered conversations among the staff about strange occurrences inside the tunnel. Some claimed to have seen shadows moving in the corners of their vision, while others swore they heard faint footsteps echoing in the darkness. Curiosity got the best of me, and during a lull in riders, I decided to take a walk through the Tunnel of Terror myself. Armed with a flashlight, I ventured into the dimly lit corridors. The scenes were designed to be spooky but not terrifying, with animatronic figures and eerie decorations. As I walked deeper into the tunnel, my flashlight flickered, casting unsettling shadows on the walls. The air grew colder, and the sound of my own footsteps seemed to echo strangely. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, and a chill ran down my spine. Just as I was about to turn back, I heard a faint whisper, almost like a voice carried by the wind. My heart raced, and I shone my flashlight in the direction of the sound. My beam illuminated a maintenance door, slightly ajar. It was the door that led to the restricted maintenance area where the young worker had disappeared. My heart pounding, I pushed open the door and stepped inside. The room was filled with old equipment and spare parts, but there was something else, a cold breeze that shouldn't have been there. In the corner of the room, a faint outline seemed to shimmer, like a mirage in the dark. Before my eyes, the shimmering form took shape, revealing the figure of a young man dressed in maintenance overalls. His face was pale, his eyes hollow, and he stared at me with a mix of longing and sorrow. I was frozen in place, unable to move or speak. With a mournful look, the figure slowly faded away, leaving behind an icy breeze that enveloped me. I stumbled back, my heart racing, and fled the maintenance area, not looking back until I was outside the tunnel. I never spoke of what I saw that night, but the memory of the young maintenance worker's apparition remains etched in my mind. The Tunnel of Terror continued to operate, but for me, it will forever be a place where the boundary between reality and the supernatural seemed to blur.